How have you applied leadership concepts that we've learned in class?
So for me, that is a two-part answer, and thinking back into more of the important concepts we talked about in class. The first one that stood out to me was leading from the balcony, and then the second one would be talking about empowerment early on in the semester. So leading from the balcony, I think with my upbringing, having a more gray worldview rather than one that is black and white, that's always allowed me as a leader to seek answers and gain the bigger picture. And I think knowing that you never have the answers, I think we talked a lot about that in class. So that application piece, particularly when I think about been on the leadership team for the student investment group for 2 years now, how we apply that is very important. And as well as I think the empowerment part comes with delegating. I think that's one of the more important parts of leadership as well, is that you can't do everything, and a lot of not having the pressure built up on you is being able to delegate. And in doing so, especially when you delegate to more junior members of in any organization, I think they feel that empowerment that they can take on bigger and better things.
So how have you viewed situations differently now than in the beginning of the school year?
I feel like the whole balcony and dance floor concept makes me view situations differently, because I try and look at all the different perspectives and all of the different opinions involved, because everyone thinks something different is going on because they're in different situations of how they view it. So I definitely try and be more understanding of different perspectives.
What is the most important part of leadership?
I think, so for me, leadership is a lot like a game of chess, and I think if you think about it that way, I think one of the most, or if not the most important part of leadership is putting people in the right places. Because if you think about it, if you put people in the right places, or if you hire right, you don't have to do that much leadership in effect, because those people will do the right thing, the thing that you want them to do.
What concept do you feel was most impactful on you throughout this course?
I feel lead from the back out of the Mandela book was really impactful, because it made me understand that a leader isn't always the person who's shouting, or the first one, the line leader or whatever. It's the person whose actions are impacting the people around them, and who's setting a good example.
How would you define leadership?
So for me, that definition is very short, but I would say leadership is the empowerment of others to see something greater than themselves.
How would you take the concepts that we've learned in the classroom and apply it to the outside world?
I think that just understanding that leadership can be everywhere. It's not positional, or doesn't come from your job. It comes from who you are as a person and your actions. And I think that being patient and empathetic is a really strong way of leading other people. And so just making sure that the people that work for you are well taken care of, and they feel known and that they belong there. You can really lead people through servant leadership that way.
How is leadership different when applied to different fields?
So, when I think about leadership, it's mostly applied in a business setting. That's a career I want to go into, and particularly when I think about entrepreneurship, which last summer I was fortunate enough to intern at a venture capital firm, so always working alongside entrepreneurs. And I think we talked a lot about adaptive versus technical challenges in the beginning of the school year. And if you think about entrepreneurs, they're always, basically 95% of their problems are adaptive challenges, and they have to act quick, and they have to act calmly. And I think having those two combinations is a very hard thing to apply to, but when done right, in any business, but particularly with a startup, I think it's very, very vital moving forward to have those attributes.